Hey, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm doing one of my favorite things, traveling while working. And right now, it's not quite the beach weather, but we got a couple feet of fresh snow up here at Hintertux in Austria. So we're starting off the season right. This should be a lot of fun.
Wake up and bake up this year, jump out the crib, stack up my C-No this year, killing my ego this year, all for the people this year, only believe in the real, I do believe in no fear, and I got gang in this bitch, I never switch on the tribe, I keep it all the way real, I'm in control of my feels, you see my highlights, they study my real, yeah. I'm showing more love this year, running more plays, finna scale up my business this year.
What do you think of the park today?
You want me for the weekend, my foot on the gas with the brakes, hit me a love you see me, flex, yes. I got my foot on their neck.
Yes, sir.
I'm out with a squad to the death. Young nigga get to the checks. Flex, yes. Got nothing to lose and something to prove. Young nigga come from the trench. Cuban links on my neck, tanking. Freeze, smoking on dope, that diesel. Freeze, run until I miss my season. Laid back, geeky. Smoking on dope, that diesel. Young nigga gone off the deep end.
Great to be back home in Arizona. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to start and scale an e-commerce brand. It's going to start as a very basic store, doing some product research. Then I'm going to take you through how to build the website, how to get everything going, and from there, how to actually generate sales. This was the other day, consistent sales, as you can see, pretty flat throughout the beginning of the day. This is TikTok ads running cost caps and surf scaling the ads throughout the day. A little bit more of an advanced strategy that we will talk about later on, but in this video, it's going to take you from A to Z on everything you need to know. And if you're looking to fast track your results, make sure to send me a DM over on Instagram with the word e-com and we'll help you out even more. But check out this video, it's gonna be a good one. Now this took me precisely 4.5 hours to put together for you, so it would mean a lot if you dropped a like. Here is today's agenda. We got a lot of good stuff to cover, starting with product research. I'm going to show you some winning product examples. We're going to build a store, talk about those key components. We're going to show the AI tools, how to speed up the business, make things easier and better using AI, leveraging those awesome tools. Supplier and sourcing, where to source from, how do you get US fulfillment, even if you want to still drop ship? How do you then do that for TikTok Shop? We're going to talk about all this, how to pick a name for your brand. A lot of people get stuck here. Product descriptions, pricing, TikTok Shop, getting ads, launching the ads on TikTok, managing ads, scaling TikTok ads. Then we're going to talk about Facebook ads. We're also going to talk about email marketing and transitioning into a real business with a back end and a business that is worth money that you could sell one day. I do have two special guests that I am bringing on throughout this video, so definitely make sure to stick until the end. It's going to be a long one, but I promise you it's going to be a good one, okay? So 2023 has been another great year for me personally. I scaled a couple different stores and was still working on some old stuff. We also helped a lot of different students. So that's been really the big cake for me that was exciting, was being able to help most students, a lot of people in our coaching, but then also take a piece of a few students and really help them scale. So that's been fun. Here's a few of those I want to highlight. I have hundreds of screenshots just from this year, but I mean, Corey over here did 15,000 on Black Friday, which was super awesome to see. Marcos did 17,000. He scaled to multiple hundreds of thousands a month, which was super awesome to see. And then even people like Christian who are getting started and then asking the right questions. Hey, I've done my first $1,000 in a week. How do I progress from there? We had a lot of people starting to pop off winners, and that's exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video. Okay, so step one, before you can do anything, you need a good product to sell. I don't go build a store and set everything up until I have the product, right? Because everything is built around that. So with that in mind, let's talk about product research, and I'm going to show you exactly how to find a winner right now, okay? Product research objectives. Find a product that we can achieve a $40 average order value with. For me, this means at a bare minimum, I have to be able to sell the product for $29.99. That's like minimum. With upsells and charging for shipping, I can get the average order value to 40, but really I'm looking for something that I can sell for at least like 35 bucks or more, okay? The higher you go, the better. Keep in mind, if you're trying to sell stuff for $200, you might struggle on TikTok and certain platforms, but just keep in mind, that's like my bare minimum average order value. I really prefer to be 50 to 60. Okay, so find a product that's selling well or has very similar variations selling well. A lot of people try to copy exactly what's working. Example, LED lights. I had a student do $2 million in a month selling LED lights, okay? He had 2 different stores for different LED lights. And so many people copied, but the people that did well copied his framework, not the product. They found a slightly different type of LED light, which ironically is exactly what my student did. He had 2 different stores for different types of LED lights. So you can build off of it. It doesn't have to be the same product. Now, we also want to find a product without too much competition that has been selling on the same platform you want to for too long. I don't really care if somebody's been selling it on Facebook. Right now, a lot of old Facebook winners that I used to run that we did millions with are being revived on TikTok. So I just keep an eye on this. I'm also going to show you a little bit about how to look at that, kind of see the duration of these ads and just find people that are advertising it. But this is a delicate dance to get all 3 right. And simple answer is there's no way to know if a product is really going to work until you run it. Okay, because every ad account's different. So here's a couple examples of things that I have sold. A water ionizer, a little more high ticket, 80 or 90 bucks. That one did really well on Facebook 5 years ago. It's being revived right now on TikTok. Burrito blanket. There's a few brands for this now, but we did about 800,000 with this on Facebook in like 2018, 2019. These blenders, portable blenders. A company called BlendJet is now in retail. They started off drop shipping, which is super cool. They really ran with this product. I did about $1 million in sales with it. It wasn't anything too crazy, but we were only running Facebook ads. So these are just examples of products I've sold. Start jogging the ideas here for some product research. Okay. Now, in terms of strategy, what are we looking for and where are we doing that research? You can do the whole scrolling on social media. I prefer to search on social media after I'm prompted, which means if I have a product in mind, I am then going to search it over on TikTok because I want to find videos that are doing well. I want to find ads. That's a better way to do it. So take a look at these resources. If you don't yet have a winning product, these are your 4 resources we're going to use. Number 1, and a personal favorite of mine, is Mania. This is a platform that doesn't just talk about research, okay? It goes beyond just finding a product. When you can look at the ads, you can find the store, you can get data behind the store, you can go and look at everything behind Facebook ads and TikTok ads and get these analytics, that's where you become successful. You don't just want to see the product framework that's working. I need to see the ads. I want to see what their price point is and all this data. That is what really helps. So we can go over here into products if we're starting to look for products, and there's so many different ones here. I mean, you can filter by winning products. That's a big one for me that I really like to use. And here's kind of a quick framework on my couple favorite buttons. Go to products, winning products, and then Facebook and TikTok. I like to look at both. You'll see some similarities because products do carry over, but there's definitely products that are a little more isolated to just Facebook or to just TikTok. So as you're going through here, you can definitely see a lot of different examples. LED lights, funny enough, I have that one right behind me, are always huge, like any sort of LED light, because these are different variations. Like you got rain humidifiers, whatever this is. Is that wood? That's super cool. It's like you can find these products that are new. And that's the thing. You don't have to be first, but you need to be the first person to scale it really hard. That's the important part. So we can go through here and look at Facebook products and TikTok products and see what's working. Another resource you're going to want to check out is the Magic Search. And with Magic Search, you can look up a keyword. So let's say we want to sell LED lights, right? We're going to be able to search up those keywords or insert an image of a product we found, and then we can find a bunch more variations. So this is my favorite tool inside of here for variations. If you're trying to find a couple different products to sell and you have an idea, you get to see this and see the videos, see their engagement, see which ones are working well, get in a lot of likes, get in a lot of comments. Again, that's data you're going to want to see. So Mania is personally a favorite one for me. You can go check it out down below. They have 20% off for the first 3 months if you use my code down below, Hayden20. So definitely check that out. Another couple options you can use that are similar still in that product research category is both Shop Hunter and PP Ads. Both of these are pretty popular. People like to use them. PP Ads is a little more focused around TikTok, which is cool if you're trying to run ads there. And Shop Hunter, again, just a lot of general features here. Personally, my preference is Mania, covers everything. And another one you can use, it's a little different. It's a little outside of just product research. It's new, is called FastMoss. Now, if you're trying to do anything on TikTok, organic, TikTok shop, running ads on TikTok, this is a cool platform because it's, to my knowledge, the only analytics tool for TikTok shop. So if I want to go inside here and see what is selling right now on TikTok shop exclusively, I can see which products are doing the best. Like, it's insane. In the last 7 days, they did $643,000 and they pay people a 15% commission rate to these creators who make the videos and sell the product for them. They're basically just affiliates, and that's just for women's clothing. And there's so many of these, like this hairbrush detangler, $500,000 in a week. Okay. These products are blowing up and there's so many stores doing, $1 million in a week, anywhere from 50 to 200,000 a day. There's a lot of them. And you get to look at all the analytics here inside FastMoss. So again, that's another research tool that I really like to use. And one of the things you can do as well is go in and look at their ads, look at videos, you can go and look at the shop. You can get a lot of data on everything to do with TikTok Shop. So we'll be talking about TikTok Shop later in here. I'm actually going to bring on an expert who has done $1 million in a weekend so that he can go through and properly give us some insight on really how to scale that into best practices for TikTok Shop. Okay, so let's continue on here. One thing I do when I'm building a product list, like ideas, I try to build a spreadsheet, not just like a bunch of links. And this is something I have all my students do, is expand, contract, expand, contract. So have a spreadsheet with all the data points like sourcing cost, target selling price, the shipping time, all of these things, and build a big list, then narrow it down to the best 5, then expand it back out and then narrow it down, right? You want to just do that a couple times. It really helps you identify the best products. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to say, a winner for someone else doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a winner for you. People copy all the time. Every ad account optimizes differently. So just keep that in mind. The only way you're going to know, like I mentioned, is to test the product, which good news is nowadays you can do that organically or just a couple $100s on ads. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. So yeah, that is the product research side as you're starting to find a product. Those are the resources we're looking at. If you can't find anything in FastMoss, go to this, go to there. I would start with Mania, go through, use their premium plan so that you get access to all of the features. You get 20% off the first 3 months and you can dive deep into the research. All right. Now we got to build a store. And this happens chronologically for me. You got to find the product first and then build a store. A couple different ways you can do this, okay? You can build it yourself. It's probably been, 4 or 5 years since I've built a store. I can hire somebody to do it. There's a couple ways to do that, right? I have friends where that's all they do is website development. They're very expensive, but they build great sites. Now you can also go the freelance route, Upwork.com, Fiverr, and for $200-300, get a decent store built. Or nowadays, this is the great part, you can use AI to do it. My team has an AI tool that we license to be able to build stores, and you can use it for free. I don't care. I'll leave it linked down below. That doesn't do everything, but the thing that we do that's a little different, like we include a free course and a couple of coaching things and extra discount links for stuff you're going to need anyways. So we include a bunch of stuff for you. But we also have a big list of products that I find. As I'm constantly doing research, I have a spreadsheet with like 700 products that I like, that are doing well, and I kind of move them in and out. And so that AI will pull products off that list and put it on the store for you automatically. So at least give you some idea of products you might be able to sell. So we're going to build a store right now together, the easy way, using AI. This is the landing page you'll see when you click the link down below, and you're going to get access to this AI builder. It doesn't take very long. All right, so I filled out my info. It emailed me the password, and now I get access to the builder. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes going through that, setting up the store so the bot can do its thing, build everything out, and then I'll catch up with you. All right, so now it does its thing. It has access to everything through the API developer side, and give it a minute, it does its thing. And what a wild world we live in where an AI can go ahead and build this. So yeah, if you want to save yourself like 5 hours of building the store and setting up all the basics, if you've never done it, absolutely free. You can access our AI and it'll just do the same thing for you. Also, I don't know, never thought yellow was my color, but it's not that bad. All right, and here's what it built. It's mostly mobile optimized, but it has a stock banner on here. Best deals for you to enjoy, a photo. It's nice. Got the free shipping on orders over 50, and then that's configured in the back end. Couple of information here, nice points. Look, the point of this is not to be a ready-to-go store. It's 90% of the way there. Now, have people launched exactly how this is? All they did is chose a name, went and bought their domain back over here. Have people done that and made sales? Absolutely. Do I recommend it? Your choice. There's going to be more things that we can change on here. And then once your store is set up, you'll also be able to schedule a free call. We're going to help you launch your ads. What you can also do is fill out the questionnaire. I'll leave a link down below, answer a couple questions, and my team's going to be able to help you launch your ads and get you $1,000, which is a deal that only we have that we negotiated with TikTok, get you $1,000 in TikTok ad credit. So super helpful, puts money in your pocket, costs you nothing. We just help you get going with your advertising. We'll talk more about that later. So now that the store is good to go on the framework, if you will, we can jump back over here and continue along inside of here. Next step, again, we have at least one product. We have the store now, the basic framework for it. We'll change it a little bit in a bit, but suppliers and sourcing. This is such a big component, and most people don't get this right. This is why drop shipping has a bad rep. It's because people don't know how to do this. Okay, who is good? Who are the players? Who are the big boys? What's going on? ZenDrop is the primary platform that I would personally recommend. I do not give recommendations without having done usually two things: extensively use something myself and know who's behind it. That's a big piece for me. So my friend Jared runs this company. He stepped away from the e-commerce space from like a public spotlight perspective a long time ago because he was focused on solving the biggest problem in the industry, which is fulfillment. And he has done that very well. So they have a massive platform. I would highly recommend them. Another secondary option is CJ, a little bit of an older feel and can be a good backup if your product can't be sourced. But as you'll see with ZenDrop, can really do everything. And then DSA, Dropship Agent. Now, again, I know the owners behind this. I do not know the owners behind CJ. DSA, Gage and the whole team over there, great personal friends of mine. I have done millions of dollars in sales fulfilled through them, and they've done a fantastic job. Average shipping time, 10 to 12 days. They've done a great job, and they're really good for scaling. So couple different options there. Let's hit on ZenDrop real quick. That's what I'm going to integrate into this store because that is the best place to start. Places like DSA, they won't take you when you're starting. You need to be doing 20 or 30 orders a day so that there's some volume. With ZenDrop, you can go one by one. So we'll jump over onto their site. You can take a look through it and see what they do. But the plan you're going to want to use is the Plus plan. If you use the link down below, you can save 50% on that. And you're also going to get $200 in free order credit. So to start fulfilling some of those initial orders, no cost for you, $200 in credit. So definitely sign up there for the Plus plan because that gets you access to everything. They also do coaching inside of there, automatic order fulfillment. So every day things get sent out so that your customers are not waiting. You don't have issues. They have a dozen different things that are super, super important, and you can source anything you can dream of. So I just signed up for the Plus plan. I had to skip it because I'm not going to show you my credit card details, but now I'm going to set a password and that's it. Boom. Now I am inside of here. There's a couple quick things you're going to want to do. First is obviously connecting your store. So you just take the admin link, which if I jump back over here, that's going to be this one from the home page where it's shorter, and that's it. Paste that inside of here and connect. So in my opinion, ZenDrop is really good for two things. Obviously you got the order fulfillment. That's all kosher, good to go. But the second thing is research. It can be another place to find more products. So I do like scrolling through here because they have millions, literally millions of products. And if there's anything you want to source that you can't find on here, all you got to do is grab the AliExpress link and they will get it done and add it to the platform for you. So their pricing is really, really good. Most places jack it up super high because you're ordering one by one different products. There's but theirs is so good. So you can definitely get access to that. And with the Plus plan, you're going to get access to this, okay? Branding, which is a really big thing. And you'll want to turn this on. Every single customer who orders from you can get access to a custom thing that has your name, your logo, and a nice little message, a gift card inside of every single one for free. So every order has a nice little flavor, a nice touch to it, which is super important. And you can also see some more research stuff with trendy products and really get access to that and a premium price. So that's why you'll want to use the Plus plan. A lot of good stuff inside of there. And it gets you access to ZenDrop Academy, where they do coaching. You can learn more about advertising, how to use the platform, and how to really nail the e-com game. We will continue on here. A lot of good stuff. ZenDrop's already plugged in. Now, what do we do next? I have a great basic store that is set up. It's a framework. We're going to touch some more stuff on it later, but it has no name, right? It just is blank. If we jump on here, it goes my store. We probably don't want to do that. We also need a domain if you look up top. So how do you pick a good store name? This is the next step. Take a look at this. What do you see here? When I look at this, I see incredible branding, precision, a feel, a vibe, right? Like Cartier, you got kind of the old European money feel with like the graph paper behind it. Here you got the more modern. This is simplistic, like, with the big bold font, Nova. Like I'm seeing a feeling here. Now, why do some names feel so perfect? It's not just the name. It's the branding around it, right? But it's also the fit around the products and the name and what you're trying to do. But then again, what the heck is Cartier? What the heck is Nike? What does that have to do with shoes? It's just a word. People make it up. Walmart, Sam Walton, and it's a mart. Walmart. They're just making up words, right? So why does some feel so perfect? It's because repetition. You've seen it, you've heard it, it has social proof behind it, so it doesn't really matter what the name is. It sounds good. That's just part of it. So picking your store name, this is always fun. Absolutely kidding. This is one of the things I am not a huge fan of, but thankfully it can happen easier now with AI tools. So I'm going to show you how to leverage that, no cost, just to do this right. Obviously you got ChatGPT. blah, 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 blah. People talk about that a lot. It's actually really good. I'd always prompt it, say, hey, give me 20, or you could say 30 or 40. Any more than that, it usually gives you an issue. But say, hey, give me 20 names for an e-commerce store that sells trendy necklaces where you can put a photo inside of it. Like, prompt it and it will give you more. Then say, make them shorter, make them funnier, make them more modern. You can prompt in that direction. Now that's one option. I'm going to show you that in a second. The second, and a personal favorite of mine, is one that most people haven't heard of, name licks. Okay. This gives you endless quality examples. Endless. I've tried scrolling. Actually, there is a bottom, but it's a lot with logo ideas. So this one's really cool. I'm going to show you this one first because it's just my favorite. Business name generator. Let's say that I want to do an e-commerce store that sells shampoo. I think I'd already done this search on here, so it should be on. We're going to do the style, auto, all styles. We want to see everything. Medium for balanced. We don't want it to be too spread out or too specific because we want to see a lot of names. Brand info, right? Shampoo, and I had put this previously, an organic, healthy shampoo company. That's it. And you're also going to want to select check for domains. Okay, you want to make sure the domain's not taken. Right? So we're going to let it do its thing and it should pop up right about here. So it gives you, again, a cool basic type of logo that could at least be used to start. And you can continue to scroll. It'll just keep loading more and more. You know, Oasis Curl, Rinsed and Clean, Nature Mousse, Nature Spa, Botanical Bliss, Hydro Luxe. That's a good one. You know, so you got all these different things, you know, Bloom Beauty, Shampoo Essence. There's so many. Natural She. That's awesome if you're targeting women. Remedy. Again, there's a lot. You get the idea. So that's really helpful to both get an idea for a basic logo that could start, and then you can kind of save them here to your account and whatnot, which is super cool. So that's a great way to go. And then obviously you have ChatGPT, which we can open up. So let's say, give me 20 name ideas for an e-commerce store that sells organic shampoo. It's going to immediately do its thing. Okay. Now you can prompt against this if you want, make them a bit more modern and geared towards women. Right? And it'll just go off and do its thing. And then you can say, make them, shorter if you want. So that's really helpful to just get ideas. And then just jump over to GoDaddy to verify domains on a lot of this stuff, just because you'll want to make sure that it is available. You want to be able to get the .com. Now, since you do have a Shopify store, I would recommend buying the domain in-house. I think it's $1 more, but then you don't have to do any integration. There's no, DNS records, and it's a mess. I hate that stuff. So what we're going to do is go over here to settings, and then we're going to go down to domains. Okay. And inside of here, we can buy a new domain or connect an existing one. I would just buy it through here. Makes it easy, Special shampoo, right? With 3 O's, because it's probably going to be available. Boom. So it's available. You just buy the domain. Again, pay a couple bucks. That's it. And it's going to automatically be connected and it'll be live within a few minutes. So that's kind of the next step there to set it up with whatever name you pick. So now we've got the name down. Now, compelling product descriptions. If you take a look at the store that was built, depending on the products it gives you and whatnot, there's some basic stuff that can be inserted in the descriptions if it has it. Like, we've written descriptions for a lot of the products. So sometimes it'll upload it, sometimes it won't. But regardless, we're going to want to change it. So let me give you the framework for product descriptions. Now, I build a basic one for any product on my site, but I'm really only focusing deep on the 1 or 2 products that I plan on running ads to. Usually I have anywhere from 5 to 10 products on my stores when I start. So I'm going to show you 3 examples. Then I'm going to give you my framework, and we're just going to talk about it because this is really important. This is where you get the 5, the 8s, the 10% conversion rates on your store. Yes, that happens. I had 11 yesterday on one store. People say it's not possible. It's ridiculous. So it's totally possible. You just have to nail the marketing, the branding, retargeting, you get all that stuff working. But regardless, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me show you 3 examples. UGMonk, $5 million a year. That's what their top line revenue is. The whole point of this brand is it's like a weekly thing that you can see. So it kind of has, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it has the weekend there. Okay. So nice and easy. It's a cool little board. You can see it. Let's go check it out. We're going to get the weekly kit. Take a look at what they have here in their description because it's incredibly simple, right? The analog weekly kit is an easy way to see your whole week at a glance. The kit includes weekly card holder and 52 weekly cards. Okay. Enough for an entire year. $79. Wow. Thick 100 pounds uncoated cardstock with dot grid pattern. This is information on the product. It's not selling you on it. This is information. Okay. Right. Solid walnut stand made in Pennsylvania. They're telling you what's going on. These are just facts. The stand keeps your cards conveniently propped up so they're always within sight. This is the sales bit, if you will, where there's they're painting a picture. They're explaining more, right? Conveniently propped up. So it's always within sight. Like, when the week's over, simply place the card. Like, they're explaining how it would be used so you can kind of picture it, right? Very simple. Now they have an expandable description where you can look at more details on measurements, shipping and return. That's all great and stuff. They got a lot of reviews. Awesome, right? Tons of photos. That's always super important for it. You can kind of get a sense of the size relative to other stuff and choose your option. But incredibly simple description. So just keep that in mind, and we're going to jump forward to the next one here. Okay. Made in cookware. They do $2 million a year selling like cast iron and nonstick skillets and pans and stuff like that. So here we go. The even heating properties of our award-winning stainless clad with an easy to clean professional grade nonstick cooking service. Talk about a run-on sentence. Wow, a lot going on there. Made in Italy, 5-ply, stay cool handles, oven safe. Awesome. Again, information. That's it. Most people just start off with information these days. And now there's some details down here where they might, maybe they talk about the safety. I don't know. I haven't actually read this whole thing. Maybe they do talk about the safety of it. I doubt, but they got dimensions, the care, how to do it, from the press. They got some quotes, if you will. That's awesome. Shipping, warranty, and returns. That's it. So there's very simple descriptions here that work really well. But notice the theme here. They all are clean. It doesn't really matter what's in there. It's just clean. It's simple. It's simplistic. It's nothing too wild. So if we go over here, let's go to shop. We're going to go to, bracelets. Boom. Take a look at some of these bracelets. All right. Engravable bar. So your custom engraving, obviously that's an option in there. Symbols. The description's down below, right? Zodiac, open that up. The description. One way to make your favorite PV piece, right? So Pura Vida, the name of the brand. One way to make your favorite PV piece even more special by customizing it with your own message. Our engravable bar bracelet, it's just information. It's very simple. They're not really selling you or spewing you some big story. I've noticed that the more like modern, sleek, simple, gentle touch, like elegant looking descriptions have actually been working a lot better. That's what we do. I'm going to show you my 2 frameworks here, but I just wanted to give you that example. A good and simple description should take you 30 minutes or less per product to really kind of get it right. You want to come back on it, build the framework, sit on it, look at it later. You can use AI tools like ChatGPT. The problem with these, it's just going to give you some long run on. It's always way too long, even if you prompt it to be shorter. And at the end of the day, it just doesn't look that good. You're going to have to reformat it regardless and all that, but it can give you some insight if you want to do a longer description, okay? Here are the 2 frameworks that I typically use, okay? We have the long variant, which I've been slowly moving away from. If I have a really good image that I want to use and like make sure people see, but it's not on the carousel of images, I'll use it in this one. So I'll have a center headline. It's centered, right? So I'm going to give you an example on that. If we jump over here, it would be like where the word description is here. It's going to be center and bold, but it's going to be right here in the center. So I actually center it and it's bold. 1 to 2 sentences. Let's take a headline, sales point, like looking for a way to keep your week organized with this calendar thing, like wherever that one was, something like that. Short paragraph, bullet point with some information, image, another very short 1 to 2 sentences. And if I want to, I prefer to have like an opening, expandable one where it's the package and the shipping info and like details of it, size of the package, all that. That's the long one. And then the short one, which I use more often because I can just slap it together easier, is just headline, 1 to 2 sentence, couple bullet points, and then usually a little bit of info on the package. Like that's it. It's really simple. And usually I try to bullet point this info too, just makes it a little simpler to read. That's it. So again, these shouldn't take you too long. I just wanted to give you some examples of ones that are proven to work on medium-sized e-commerce stores, and then my framework as well. So we've got the store. We found the product. We've got the store. We got the name. We got a logo maybe. We got a domain that we bought. We got the product descriptions put together. Now, how do you price your product? I don't know, Hayden. Let me know, Hayden. What do I do? Very simple here. Okay, let's be real. Nobody believes it if everything's discounted. You've been on those websites where there's 84 products and everything is having a massive sale today. Come on, it carries no weight. It's like how the big brands, luxury brands, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all these places, we're all like, there's no discount. There's no Black Friday special. It's just different, right? Building the brand. Now, I do believe in a discount or an offer. It doesn't always have to be a discount, but pricing the product is great. So I try to create a discount or an offer, not usually both, around the product that I'm selling. Okay, I'm not running ads to 6 products. I don't think I've ever done that on any store ever at the same time. I think, probably 2 is the max. It's just, I'm focused on a product. And people are, but I want to sell all these and increase my sales. You can do $100K a day with 1 product. I've been there. You don't need to like diversify that, right? Over time, if you're a big brand, you can do that. But here's what I mean. Discount means discounted price. Offer could mean buy one, get one, buy the other, get one half off, buy this, get that as a bonus. Like, that's an offer. So not every product on the site. 30 to 50% is my reasonable range that I do discounts for on pretty much every e-commerce product that I sell. Now, a lot of people use the 3x your sourcing cost, 4x as a rule of thumb. So if I pay 10 bucks for it, I'm gonna sell it for 30 or 40. That's fine, but it's not a flat statistic. You can't just go off that. Like if you source it for 823, you can't just times that by 3 and that's your price. So I would be looking around. Number one, what are other e-commerce stores selling it at? Then I would look at Amazon. Amazon is usually cheaper, and just know that you can almost always outprice Amazon. I know, right? You can have slower shipping and charge more and people will still buy from you. It's just how it works because people saw your ad. They fell in love with your product, your branding, and they're already there on the site. Most people don't cross-reference when they're shopping online. Cool. So I'm going to give you a pro tip here. This is a big one that, I don't really watch the videos from many people. I know most of the other e-commerce YouTubers, but I don't see most people talking about this. You have to watch out for congruency for the ad platforms. Facebook doesn't like this and TikTok doesn't like this. No other platform cares. If you, and I'm going to give you another example on this later, if I'm selling the product, it's normally $50, 50 flat, exactly 50. And now it's on the site for $24.99. And then I say in my ad, 50% off sale, that's a policy violation. Did you catch why? It's not 50% off. It's 50.0, like whatever the thing is, it's 1 penny less. You have to be precise because that is a misrepresentation of the pricing of your product. And that is a violation of the policy on 2 platforms. You can get disabled for that. And that actually might be the reason on TikTok specifically, you will see partially rejected, which we're going to talk about how to solve. This is one of those ways. I guess I'm jumping ahead a little. On your TikTok ads, you will see it say partially rejected. Just something to note, okay? Let's continue on here. Now that almost everything is set up, let's start moving into the marketing, right? This is assuming we got everything set up. We did the pricing, nice and easy. We got it moving on. We're going to talk about TikTok Shop. And this is a big one because the results have been incredible. And as you saw on FastMoss, how many new companies are popping up and exploding their sales. There's a couple limitations for TikTok Shop, but man, oh man, when you're talking about doing $1 million a week, now there's no ad spend. There's just affiliate. There's other creators who get 20% of the revenue they generate. Let me give you a secret. That's less than you'd spend on ads, paying people 10, 18, 20%. And then you have unlimited content to use because they make it for you and they do all the work for you. So you don't do anything. It's crazy. So let's talk about TikTok Shop. All right, guys, this is Corey. He's doing a lot of stuff on TikTok Shop. How many TikTok shops are you running right now?
Then we're running 8 and we got 4 more coming.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Now, the obvious thing, we got 2 big boxes of samples in front of us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with this brand you have here?
So this is actually a new brand. Well, new to the internet. It's been around for a minute. It's called Honest Bites. We're rebranding right now. These are somewhat similar to Smart Sweets if you've seen them in the stores with the Swedish red fish and things. But that brand's recently sold, and there's a lot of chatter on the internet how a lot of their things don't taste good. They're not. They taste like chemicals. So basically, what we want to do is come up with a really, really good snack that's gluten-free, vegan-free. Not vegan-free, vegan. And just really, really good for you without all the chemicals. And this is what we came up with. We're actually in the works right now with launching into MLB stadiums as well as Albertsons. So
that'll be sweet. Going into retail. And these things are actually really good. I strongly dislike the brownie ones, but I think you guys are discontinuing those, so we're good. Yeah, these things are fire. So super cool. What sort of products are working really well for you on TikTok Shop? Because you got a lot of different stuff here. I mean, you're doing a lot of gummies, a lot of stuff in the health and wellness space.
Health and wellness, anything that is still like an evergreen product. Whether people need it every day, it's a substitute for something, or it helps people get better. So I typically find, and research shows this too, anything in the women's niche or health and wellness niche sell extremely well. And typically those products have the best margins, to be honest with you.
Definitely. And people, like, especially for stuff like this, they keep coming back. So you're selling subscriptions, which you can't do through TikTok Shop.
Correct.
But you can still acquire the customer.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have the subscription. All these products are on Amazon as well. They're also on Shopify. So we have three sources to get traffic to, and 2 of them are on subscription, which works really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've all seen on FastMoss, like all the different top companies that are selling well, like hair curlers. That's got to be the number one or close to it.
Yeah, and
they're
hair,
selling $1 million a week.
The hair tangler, the untangle brush,
Untangler.
anything women's right now, it's crazy. Not only that, like the whole gummy, everything's switching. Everyone's tired of the capsules. Everyone's tired of the boring like burps after the nasty, the horse pills you have to swallow. Like it's just they're not enjoyable, right? People in our generation want something that they can digest or take that isn't so bad, right?
It's also enjoyable.
Correct. Like that's why people get on these health waves and get off of them because they're so bad. No one wants to take this big old, like 18 different scoops of this and 12 different packs of pills in the morning. Like gummies just makes them feel like a kid, and that's when kids were the healthiest because they're always wanting to eat their Flintstone gummies and their other gummies. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly, and that's why Corey and I are starting a brand that is kind of building off of that. It's taking supplements, which I've never liked, and making them into gummy form. So you'll have all the different variations starting with just a few. So that'll be something we launch on TikTok Shop first. Eventually, we'll go right to Shopify, paid ads, which is what we've been doing for, 7 years. So yeah, we actually have a fun little thing to do here in this video. We've got 2 samples here just of flavors, okay? So these are, tell us about how these got sourced, but this is just flavors. So these eventually will be magnesium, iron, different things for the gummies, but this is just a flavor capsule, like not a capsule, a gummy. And so they're super like sticky, it's like Jello.
yeah, so most people don't know gummies are really hard to make. That's why they haven't been around forever. Like if you see this, it's a finished bottle. They move, right? And you need something like this that sits on a shelf as well as like in a pantry or your cabinet that doesn't become one big gummy. It doesn't glob together. So there's a huge process in this. A lot of it's hand done. There's molds. There's curing rooms that take 3 to 4 days. It needs to dry. It needs to have the right mixture in it so it doesn't clump together. So this, you can see, it's super, super wet. These just came off the line yesterday. It's better to taste the flavors as soon as they come off the line. Plus, we're kind of in a rush. So this is what natural gummies look like. They're usually just little square cut ups that were diced up. And we're going to taste these.
Shape them and have different molds and stuff later to do circles and whatever.
Oh, yeah. We could do any mold in the world. All we do is buy a mold tray and then any flavor, whatever you want. So basically what we're going to do with this new brand is we need a taste test. We already know what we're going to do. We're going to go through the taste testing process. Then we're going to start adding all the chemical. There's no chemicals or powders or anything in here yet. So basically what we're going to do is a taste test. We're going to go to the lab down here. We have the lab in Phoenix. Start pouring our nutrients in it that we want to make. And then we have to keep taste testing along to make sure the taste doesn't distort to where it doesn't become nasty. There's no, the acidity's not there. It's not a big, glump of powder inside of it. So
I think that's what
it's
a lot
a
of
process.
people don't realize is the flavor changes significantly when you add stuff in. So let's say we're going for protein powder or creatine. Well, how much creatine is in each gummy matters a lot because your serving size might be 2, it might be 5, right? But you have to make sure it tastes right because at some point it just dives off a cliff. We've all had the gummy supplements that just taste terrible. Same with like the protein bars that are overloaded for their size. Mm-hmm. I'd rather eat more in terms of quantity, which then comes to a calorie question. But with gummies like this, I'd rather take 5 than 2 and have them taste good.
Me too, so that you can order more quickly.
Exactly. But yeah, so we're going to taste test these and then we'll dive in a little bit more, show you guys some results from TikTok Shops, talk through what he's doing because that's really been his domain. Talk about like how to get people on board, how you're cranking out a lot of new influencers. But first, let's get our reaction on these. This one smells good. That one, not so much.
Here. Okay. 4 different flavors in here. You grab the water. He's scared. You know what'd be funny on camera?
These are.
It's like while we're tasting, you just see your hand of the filmer go in and grab one and come back. It would actually be low key funny.
And then, so these ones are what, lemon? Because these are pineapple, right? And this one?
I believe so.
That's a pineapple one.
I forgot what orange tastes. I just got to tell him the color and he'll tell me though. I forget what it is. He said a whole mouthful to me last night. I'm just like, okay. He was kind of in a rush. Okay.
All right. Start with orange?
Yeah.
Cheers, sir. The first one. It's a weird consistency.
It is. They're raw gummies.
Oh my God.
But it tastes like orange.
A fair bit. Tastes like orange cleaning product.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This one's pretty good actually. This is not strong.
Red's always really good. Red's better than orange for sure. See, we're going to play a game with this brand and see 2 things. Number 1, how quick can we get to $1 million a month in sales? But then, how quickly can we get to $100,000 in subscriptions?
Yeah.
See which one comes
This is
first.
probably my favorite. literally. I think they're getting better. The different ones we
I
tried.
was really confident first through the whole cube,
Yeah.
and now I'm taking halves. I don't know. Yeah, this is the best.
Yeah.
And then pineapple is the last one.
Yeah, these are cured.
These are the ones, yeah. See, this bottle,
Oh, these smack.
they smell good. Oh, these are pretty good.
These are good.
I don't even like pineapple, and I like this.
These are actually really, really good.
All right.
This is actually, it's funny because this is actually part of this brand right here. This is a new gummy we're introducing to this line. There's 8 different gummies to this line we have out right now. That's going to be 9. This is going to be beginning of the year. This is going to be like a diet one. Like a berberine.
So people don't realize it's all pretty much the same thing. With every gummy brand, I mean, you have your red cherries, your blue raspberries, you got lemon and pineapple and all these things. But it's what you're putting in it. And then when you do that and how much of it you put in changes the flavor significantly. So it's all the same, like, raw cube that you're starting with.
Yep.
Then it's just, all right, figure out what flavors you want. We definitely want blue raspberries, one of those. So we'll have to get a sample pack. But
Yeah.
yeah, these are pretty good. I would say these pineapple ones,
The pineapple ones slap.
definitely number one. Then
The lemon's
I'd go
pretty
with
good.
red and then lemon. The orange was a startling.
I think I'll get some more of these that are dried, that are fully cured, and we try it because, like you said, the powder and things make things taste differently. So we can keep that flavor in the running. We'll alter it and then just see how it is.
That is a little bit of behind the scenes of what we were going to do anyways. We were actually supposed to do this earlier this week, but you got to do the taste testing at some point. So there we go.
You guys should make a sour kind.
Yeah, we actually are right now. So we're coming out with a couple more different flavors. Like we said, we're going to discontinue the chocolate one. It's not a big hit. Everything else works really, really well. We're going to be coming out with a sour one too as well. A lot of people like the Sour Patch Kids. Like this is more of like a candy thing, right? This isn't like a vitamin thing. This is more of like a replacement snack, right? When people get a sweet tooth or whatnot. So we're going to come out with a couple sour ones. One for sure. It'll be like a Sour Patch Kid one with muriatic acid on it. And believe it or not, it's crazy how it works. You're just literally dusting it on it. There's nothing inside the candy. You ever like took the like salt off or the acid off of
Yeah, you suck on a Sour Patch Kids.
and it gets like really, really just fruity?
Yeah, it's a gummy again.
Yeah. Because I mean, honestly, like these things can only get so good without sugar, right? Sugar is like the biggest sweetener in the world. And that's the thing, is making this taste like it has sugar or some kind of really good beneficial flavor to want it. The healthier version, right? So that's what we're doing. That'll be out probably within the next week or so when we actually officially relaunch again. So we've had this one. Like I said, we launched it to see how it did. We got a ton of influencers on board. Most people don't really understand TikTok is ran by affiliates and influencers. The days like, remember when we ran dropshipping stores where you'd have to pay people 3, 5, 7, 10 grand to do an influencer post on Instagram, and you never knew if it was
Hit or miss.
yeah, you never knew if it's gonna hit. Like we've been dogged so many times where we didn't make any money back, not even initial investment, but we also have put $300 into things and made $15,000, $20,000 off of it. The cool thing about TikTok Shop, and I was actually on a call with their global team last week, is they've only hit 3% market share with TikTok Shop right now. That is insane when you consider there's billions of people on TikTok, right? So there's a lot of new things coming out with it. And the cool thing about it is it's really untapped. So the way TikTok works is you find an influencer and you make a deal with them. Sometimes they want money, 90% of the time they don't. What they do is they want part of that internet money. They're on TikTok all day, they post videos. So basically what they do is they go into our store, request a sample of our product, we ship it out to them, and they make a video for us, put it online. TikTok, they put our link in there, and they also tag the product so people can shop directly from their page without even going to ours, and they get a commission of it. Typically it's anywhere between 10, 15, 20, 25%. So that takes out all the grunt work. So let's just say I send this out to an influencer, right? I pay like $2 for shipping, a little less than, around $2.50 per, it depends on how many I'm sending, cost of goods. So for $5, I can get a whole influencer, an affiliate to post for me, right? And then
You're not paying them up front.
I'm not.
You're getting a percentage.
Correct, on how well their video does. So it incentivizes them. The other cool thing is I get unlimited content made for me for free. So I have something that's running for me to where I'm sending out over 100 of these today. We're about to ramp it up to 300 of these today. 300 samples out to a lot of people. And you may be like, that's a lot of money you're spending and sending out. It's actually not. When I'm getting, 2,000 videos made of my product a week spammed on every platform for an average of less than $5 per person, it's crazy the results. Like the return is like
I'm a content guy at the old house. Like content is the biggest part of e-commerce, and so when you can take these people that are working as affiliates for a commission, you don't have to pay them up front, just send them the product, and you get not hundreds but thousands of videos that you can then go run for your Facebook ads, your TikTok ads. That is why I love this model. So I talk with TikTok on two sides of things, both on the advertising side and also on the affiliate side. I'm currently the number 11 rated TikTok affiliate in the world. And that's all like bringing new business owners onto the side, not through TikTok Shop. And so I get to hear why they're transitioning and get to see that plan. So it's just like why they got rid of the creator fund and they transitioned into the beta one that they have for longer videos. They want to get people spending money on the platform, whether it's consumers or advertisers. That's the only thing TikTok cares about. So you can see that in terms of how much they're pushing TikTok Shop right now. Like if you do anything on TikTok Shop, it's pretty much going to work. It's crazy.
No, it is just like if you post videos for yourself instead of a TikTok Shop video, you get one video to go viral. Like it's crazy because we have softwares we look at. There's actually some influencers that have 20,000 followers and stuff on there that are making over $100,000 a month, $300,000 a month, $500,000 a month. A lot of AI channels that are just sell only that take everyone's product, request samples all day, and have like sales pages. Here's a recent one. This one has done over $100,000 in 2 weeks and not one single dollar spent in ads. So let's just say we ran ads for this, right? Typically when you run ads for dropshipping store or Shopify store, your margins, a healthy margin is going to sit between 30 and 40%. With these products and how TikTok gives the buyer, 30 to 40% off plus free shipping, but they pay us for that, we're sitting at about 70% margins for this. So not only are we not spending ad spend, but we're sitting at a way higher operating margin than this. So, here's another one. And these are all brands that we had just started. If you can look at the dates, we only started them like 2 weeks ago. So this is only getting affiliates right now for these brands. And we should have about 10 launched before the end of December. But that's all good news about TikTok. There is downside to TikTok.
A few.
And that's what people get stuck on. And I've ran into a lot of people that have reached out for help about TikTok Shop, or they get on there and they get way ahead of themselves. So a couple bad things. You obviously have to stock inventory. TikTok doesn't like dropshippers. They don't like their buyers on their platform having a really bad time of waiting for the product for even 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, a month. TikTok does watch tracking. It's not PayPal, it's not Stripe. So they notice all your products. You can print a label really quick, right? You have 3 days to print a label. You have 72 hours to get that thing moving.
Yep.
They check up on that label to make sure that thing's actually being sent, because someone can go in there, have a mega viral video, and have someone order thousands and thousands of product and just not fulfill. They can just print shipping labels, right? So they do track shipping. They'll go in there and monitor your account. That is why TikTok Shop monitors you and lets you only do 100 orders per day when you first start TikTok. Because they want to see, hey, this company can keep up with 100 orders a day. They have enough inventory to get those out daily, right?
Well, I think a lot of people that even do have inventory, it blows up a lot faster than they imagine. And
Correct.
you might have to wait 45 days to get your new stuff in. And so it's it's a classic issue of scaling too fast, which is at least controllable through the ads, but
Correct.
not through TikTok Shop.
So like that, right? You do 100, you're in good faith, everything's good. Because your customers have to review and check that they have it in the TikTok app. And ask them, it pumps up. Just like how Facebook page your score. Then they unlock you to 200, 300, 500, 1,000. And then you keep a proven track record of a while. Then they open you up to, hey, this company can handle whatever is thrown at them, right? So going back to, that's the other thing, right? The number one thing I see with people that are running successful TikTok shops here, they have inventory in the US, is they scale and then they're out of product. Then guess what? You got to shut your store off. All those customers you're losing money there, right? Then you got to go to China, Pakistan, Mexico, wherever you're ordering your product from, put a big old order in again, and then wait for it to be done, and then wait for it to ship. So you're looking at like a 2-month process round, right?
Well, we saw the hair curler do that recently.
Yeah.
Is that the top product?
Yeah, the beach waver.
Beach
Yeah.
waver.
So with that, that's the cool thing about doing things like this and the gummies and my skincare creams and things like that is I have partners in the US to where I will never run out of inventory. We have enough facilities and warehouse and equipment that we ship over 1 million units a day to retail plus our side. So that is why I can go grab 1,000 of these samples every couple of days and send them out to my influencers and not worrying about like, oh, this is my actual inventory. I can't send product out. I didn't order enough. Like, I'm going to lose money if I send these out or any other product. I send about 300 units across all my brands right now, and we just started this to influencers on TikTok every day. So, I mean, if let's just say you go over 3 days, you get penalized. It's kind of like a 3-strike count. Second one, they don't say this, but everyone I've dealt with, their product and their videos just stop going viral all of a sudden. You know, and then the third one, you're kind of just kicked off. They just stop you from selling. So if you're not on top of it, you have to monitor it every day. Your customer service better be up to date. It's not, I'll get the product out when I get the money. Here's also another thing. You need to have a bankroll when you do a TikTok shop. TikTok doesn't pay you out automatically. TikTok doesn't start paying you till the customers start getting their stuff. Because here's why. Like I said, all the products right now, TikTok will offer the customer 40% off with a coupon, but TikTok still pays you that difference of 30-40% off plus your shipping. So TikTok's not just going to go out and hand a whole bunch of money out to someone that's doing business. They're absolutely losing money.
That's what people don't realize. TikTok is losing billions probably, right? Or getting close to it. They're losing a lot of money on this.
So we're with the global team. They're a little over $2 billion in deficit right now.
I didn't know it was over $1 billion. It's $2 billion now?
Yeah,
Jeez.
$2 billion. And that's 3% market share of TikTok. So it's going to get bigger. They're actually at the beginning of the year, they're going to come out with new ways, new incentives and things like that. Cool thing is too is I got a couple really big brands I didn't show on camera today because the fact that
people are nosy.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
But we're ranked I think within the top 25 in the world right now on the store. The bigger you get on TikTok, the more TikTok wants to help you out. So it's not like Facebook where you don't get a rep, you can't talk to anyone. It doesn't matter if you spend $1 million a month, they just don't care, right? Same thing with these other platforms. Snapchat and TikTok are the only platforms I've seen actually care about people when you have a problem. To where they actually went out themselves and hired us 100 creators. They're like, hey, these people do really well in your niche. We'll hire them for you if you promise to spend this much on our platform a month. So guess what? A lot of times we don't even have to go look for people and pay someone to sit through profiles every day and look how good their videos do, vice versa. And last night I had to approve, I think 80 videos for the Spark ad post.
It's the creative beta group or whatever. And so if you're a high spender with a good track record, they will pay creators on the platform for you. So it's free for you. You kind of fill out campaign details just like you're making like a freelance listing for what you need. And then these people film videos, and then you can either approve it or request a submission. And the minimum is you got to spend at least 10 grand a month so they can get data because they're trying to figure out what works. So,
correct. Yeah. And then the cool thing is like I said, like 80 videos out of I had 200 in the queue last night.
That's a lot.
Got approved. The other 120 went back, and that's cool because if they messed up, you don't like it, you could just not like it, and then they have to remake the video. Right? They don't just publish it without you saying, oh, it's okay. Because TikTok wants your brand to go bigger. So they don't want people to publish a bunch of crap that you don't like or that you don't foresee growing your brand, right? Because that's how they're going to make money. So their platform is really good. I know a lot of people don't like it because, you can't drop ship. You can't sell digital products. But there are companies
digital has to be coming
making millions and millions of dollars. Like there's a couple products that I look at every day that is crushing over $13 million a month, and with zero ad spend. Like, and it's all affiliates.
And usually, what the average is 15% that most big ones are paying. Some like Beach Wave, I think, is 20%. They're one of the biggest in terms of commission. But it's really between 10 and 20. That's what people are paying. My ad spend on average is 35 to 45% of our revenue. So when you're eliminating that, I guess cutting it in half and adding a 10 to 20%,
margins go through the roof.
It's nothing. It's ridiculous.
I mean, even with sending out all the free product and the samples, like you're still at a crazy margin. Like I said, we're at about 7% margin on one of the stores after sending out all the products, all the money back and stuff like that. we're sitting right around like 61, 62%. And that still would send out a ton of free things.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a marketing budget to like kind of put it out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, hold inventory. If I was to start a TikTok, what I do with all these brands now, I've kind of found the sweet spot. I at least grab 1,500 of them for samples because I try to send out like 2 weeks worth, and I send about 100 a day.
Yeah.
And just make sure you can fulfill, because that's the worst thing, right? Is keep adding fuel to the fire. Once you have a video pop off, it's the worst when you run out of stock. You have to turn your stuff down, and that video is still getting views, but you're not getting any money. There's no way around it, right? So it's just keeping up. Like this is a stats game. This isn't like drop shipping where you're just looking at a P&L, just profit and loss, right? You're actually looking at how much inventory you have, how fast you can get it, foreseeing. And like I said, you may have to put an order in with your supplier from somewhere in the world, but TikTok hasn't released your money yet, you know? And if you've been drop shipping for a while, you've probably had your money held by PayPal or Stripe, so it's kind of the same thing. You still got to operate without that money being held, so just be prepared for that.
And I think a lot of people come in with a small budget to the e-commerce space, $500 to $5,000. Like I started with 500. That'd be difficult on TikTok Shop nowadays. So what I almost recommend to people nowadays is find a money partner. It's the same thing people do in real estate. Like if you can't do it yourself, but you have something that's working, you have a small amount of inventory and you're getting orders, you can find a money partner. You can find somebody who will fund that because there's momentum.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of those people out there. So it's like it's there. I feel like in the e-commerce space, people don't look for that. Whereas real estate, the old saying is, if you have a good deal, the money finds the deal.
Yeah.
Right? So it's if you have the deal, that's the control piece, and then the money will be there. And so I actually think it's the same thing right now with TikTok Shop.
Yeah, and there's the different ways around this. Like I've had people come with very limited budget, but they had a really good idea. They might manufacture something that way. Build a good rep with manufacturers and things like that, especially like in the U.S. Obviously, if you're buying in the U.S., you're going to pay a little bit more if you don't have that direct link. But you have margin to play around with because you don't have ad spend, right? Build like a net 60 with a company.
I'm going to explain what that is real quick because I feel like some people won't catch that.
So a net 60 is pretty much a rolling loan. So I would say I need 30,000 of these, right? I don't have to front the money up front on inventory. I don't have to pay you. Contract good faith says I will pay you what all those are worth within 60 days. So I can, if I know I'm going to do this product will kill it on TikTok Shop and do really, really well, I can tell this manufacturer, work out a deal with them. If they don't know you, you don't have any kind of collateral or anything like that, or can prove that you have money, it might not work, but it does because I have friends doing it. I can come to you as a manufacturer and be like, hey, I really love your gummies. I think I can produce this much. I've done this much in e-commerce. Is there any way I can get the upfront inventory? We'll sign a contract. I'll pay you in 60 days. I can take this. I can go make $300,000 off of it, right? Because that's what I feel like I can make on it with the profit margins and sales and how much I can sell it for. And then you can pay it back before 60 days. I would recommend paying it back weekly when you get your payouts. And you just keep building that.
People don't realize that that's how corporate invoicing works. Like person to person, it's different, but from a corporation perspective, it's always net 30 or net 60, sometimes net 90. But like, let's say Mr. Beast gets paid for a YouTube promo. He's probably on a net 30 to a net 60. If he does something with like KFC or something. I mean, people reach out to me, little old me, for brand deals, and I don't really do many of them, but a lot of times they're offering a net whatever. Like that's, because then that helps them, and so it's a real thing.
I was watching this.
And by the way, you need a relationship with that. I want to stress that.
Yeah,
You can't just cold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ever.
I was watching this. It was like a protein powder that this dude was doing a video on it on TikTok. I came across it the other day, and TikTok fully opened him up to where he could do unlimited orders a day. And he was waiting. He showed it. He was waiting on a $1.6 million payout. TikTok had not paid him yet. But his manufacturer is over here sweating him, floating him the product to keep selling because he can show that manufacturer, hey, the money's been sold, the product's been sold, you've shipped it out. Here's the balance. I'm waiting for TikTok to pay me, and here it's coming to you, right?
It's a lot of money.
Correct. But it's just crazy. Like it just goes so fast. Like And it's just a different wave, right? Dropshipping's evolved. I mean, back 7 years ago, you could throw up $5 ad sets on Facebook and have $1,000 the next day, $2,000. It's just everything is going. And here's also the other thing I would take into consideration. If you're running TikTok shop ads, we were talking about this yesterday, and you have like a Shopify store, big cartel, whatever you run your store on. I average when I run TikTok shop ads, when I don't leave their platform, I can crank out like a 10 to 12 budget, even if I'm surf scaling and scaling super hard.
10 to 12 ROAS, a return on ad spend, guys. It's a big, when you're running ads, not to an external link, Shopify even, but to TikTok Shop, which is an option at the campaign level.
Yeah, it's a new option they have. It doesn't matter if I scale. I could scale 400% on an ad set every day and still maintain that ROAS. However, like if I run ads, the same creatives, I know they're winning creatives. I know they're winning because I test everything internally first. Winning creatives, ad copy, all that, it's the same. I run it to like a Shopify or whatever. My ROAS drops by at least half. And again, they can't tell you these things, but I really feel like TikTok incentivizes people to stay on their platform compared to leaving. So I mean, you can still run it. It's still good to run it. I mean, even if you're at above 3 ROAS, still run it to an external source, especially like for things like this where they're subscription based and you can't have that on TikTok yet. Yeah. What we do is have follow-ups and stuff like that with emails so where people can opt in with subscription and stuff like that.
Because you get the data. This is a really important piece of TikTok Shop. Unlike selling on Amazon where you don't get access to everything, they're not necessarily your customer. That's not the case. And I feel like TikTok really filled a gap in the marketplace by doing that. And to your point about the advertising, your ROAS dropping if you're doing it internal versus external, 100% true. It's because they're favoriting people on TikTok Shop spending money on the platform. They don't want you to leave the platform. Just like a YouTube video will get less views if you have links to anything other than another YouTube video in the description. It's the same thing. Just facts. It's how their algorithm works.
Well, plus that, right? We're always talked about making it so easy for a customer to buy something, right? That's why Shopify came out with a one-page checkout. That's why we run a one product stores with not a lot of options. Straight to buy now, right? And that's the same thing, right? So when someone's on TikTok, those endorphins are going, they don't want to leave TikTok, right? They want to keep swollen, or if they leave, they're going to lose their place, right? They might have just seen a funny video or in a good like rhythm, right? Yeah. So then they got to click the link, it takes them to a different store, they got to buy, then they got to come back to TikTok, which TikTok may have refreshed, and then they're just like, it's not just them, like I don't feel like punishing people, it's more of a psychological thing that really hurts people from like leaving the platform because I mean, people are addicted to that platform. They cannot get off of it. Like it is crazy, right? Yeah. It's good but it's good. I mean, it's not bad, right? Not everything's bad. But yeah, so I don't think it's really TikTok punishing anybody. I do feel like that you're choosing an external link and you're going here. It's just a big mess, right? So TikTok shop ads are always going to do better. It's very better because, I mean, all they hit is the little shopping tag, click buy now, and they don't even lose their spot. And they just keep scrolling.
Crazy. And
plus, they don't get the discount that on our Shopify store as TikTok offers them. Yeah. And that's another big thing. People don't leave. It's because they come to my store. It may say they're getting 50% off, but still somehow going to cost more than the TikTok shop. You know what I'm saying?
It's always for sale. It's always half off. Well, anything else you want to add on the TikTok shop side of things? I know it's new. It's trending. There's a lot of stuff happening. Again, people think they might have missed the wave. People have been saying that for e-commerce. That e-commerce is dead. Like he said, 3% market penetration so far on TikTok Shop. If you think you're late, you're wrong. Should you have been earlier? Absolutely.
No, I don't think you should have been earlier because guess what? Well, we put all the groundwork in to figure out what works and what doesn't, right? Yeah. And some things have gotten worse. Some things have gotten better. And I didn't, it's just.
Look at how many people.
The testing was done.
So big.
Yeah, 100%. And everyone that thinks dropshipping is saturated just needs to stay on TikTok because it's completely incorrect. I mean, that's the number one thing we hear is how saturated our dropshipping is. 90% of the world's dropshipping. There's some other crazy news I wish I could share right now about a different platform that's going to be doing this same exact thing as TikTok Shop.
Not yet.
I've been on some crazy calls. I get into some little bit of different rooms because of how big we've done with some of these brands. We're actually gonna be the first brands on their platform, but should be rolling out here in about a month. Hey, but guess what? I get to be the first one to that. So I may miss TikTok Shop, but that'll be cool. So I mean, think about this, right? Everyone adopts. That's all I'm gonna say. So watch platforms, look at news that are coming out, things like that. Especially if we want to make a big wave in the market.
Every platform copies whoever started something that works. So like when stories first came out, that became a thing. Every platform does it now. YouTube has stories, Facebook stories, Instagram stories, there's Snapchat stories, all right? So just watch the model go from TikTok Shop to every other platform. It will happen.
But there's one next. It's been in the works. I've been on phone calls for like 3 months. That's going to be smacking here pretty soon. I'm actually very excited about it because it's probably the second best platform. Get into TikTok now. Get your feet wet because this is going to happen across every platform. I think TikTok has set the standard to get dropshippers out of it, holding inventory, providing great customer service, fast shipping times, things like that. Every platform is going to take that same route because no one complains really about TikTok Shop. You have some people like, oh, I see TikTok Shop video ads on my story all day, but like no one complains. You don't see a YouTube video where it's like, I've been waiting on my order for 45 days or, stuff like that. So they really set the standard. So they really entered the space, took really a dominance over it. So I think every other platform is going to be like that. So here's also the other thing. These other platforms adopt, which they are, because one is coming out here pretty soon. You better triple or 10x your inventory. So that is another big issue. Those are good issues to worry about. You're going to be able to scale quicker. There's going to be a lot healthier margins out there. I'm not sure what deals the new platform is going to offer, but margins is going to be better. Data is going to be better. And just the overall experience, right? I mean, no one's going to stop buying things from online. It's never going to happen. But you want to make the experience really enjoyable so that they keep going. And that's why fast food takes off, right? No one wants to cook at home anymore. No one wants to go to the store anymore. No one wants to sit in traffic. No one wants to drive anymore. Everyone just wants that instant gratification. So, and these companies can provide that with the SOPs they put in place for selling on their platform. So
I think it'll be really good. I mean, I'm excited. We even have people in our group who normally just run paid ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads. We're now crushing it on TikTok Shop. So it's been fun to take some of these principles and see students and clients as well do the same thing. Yeah, and TikTok Shop's organic, right? And it's basically the ultimate way to test creatives without spending money, is the way I look at it. And then obviously when you find something working, you just keep dumping gas on it, right? So I take what's working and I put money behind it and it takes off. I mean, you see me when I first started doing stores months ago and I was hitting, this is before TikTok Shop. I wasn't even using TikTok Shop and I was hitting $10,000, $12,000 days with a link in my bio. I wasn't holding inventory. I was drop shipping on TikTok Shop. But I would take that and then I would put money behind it and I would get, I was like averaging a $7 CPA cost per acquisition on a $69 product. Running organic and then doing Spark ads behind it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of different ways to do it. Just look at it as like free testing, right? Because like back when we started drop shipping, you would need like 2, 3, 4K in ad spend, not including all the other setup costs, just test creatives all day. Pay people to make your creatives, test them, test different ads, and then you would get 1 or 2 per campaign. You would just double it up, but you can just test for free. It's almost free to start a TikTok Shop. Go to find a product, order it, have it created. Just start posting organically videos on it. You don't need a bunch of influencers. You can just make a page around that brand, just start posting on it, and you can see how the traction is going to be and the video views. People saying that they want it, they don't like it. And then what the ultimate comment is, where do I get this, right? That's what you want. And then you found a winner. Then you can go source that product, have someone make it, whatever. But it's so easy to test now. You don't got to spend hundreds of dollars a day testing things that you don't know is going to work.
And if you guys don't see how powerful this is, I don't really know what else we can show you. Like, you're missing out. Like, it's crazy. So,
yeah.
Appreciate the insight.
Yep.
So, Corey and I spent about 4.5 hours doing this to both of our cars. This is the Huracan he's got here, and we just used material from a rack. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of them all over. And we put about, 3,000 lights? 3,000-ish on each of the cars. And, I mean, you'd think it'd be faster. I thought it'd take about 45 minutes. It did not, but it looks so dumb during the day, but it looks so cool at night. So I don't know how long we're gonna leave them on for, but. Wow, oh mon Dieu, c'est incroyable. Always a good time with Corey. I have known him for a long time. We've made many millions of dollars in e-commerce, and he's crushing it with TikTok Shop with a lot of supplement companies and stuff like that. So let's talk about the advertising. It's still a good idea to run ads, and you can run ads to a TikTok Shop, which TikTok loves right now. It's performing really well. I'll show you that. But running paid ads is still something we do heavily, both myself and Corey. Facebook ads, normal TikTok ads to TikTok Shop, a lot of different stuff. Okay. So first, before you can run an ad, you have to have an ad. You need something to run. On Facebook, you can do image ads. Okay. On TikTok, we're going to need videos. I do still recommend videos for Facebook, but let's start with this. You're going to need a minimum of 2 to 3 videos to run paid ads. How do you do that? Because some people don't want to order the product. They don't want to get a, phone case and then have to film it and do a whole thing. I understand that, especially if it takes time to come in, if you can't find the same one on Amazon, which is something you could do. It's a lot of work. So the first option is that, a lot of work. Ordering the product, film and edit yourself. You could use an actor, you could use a friend, a girlfriend, a parent, whatever, a dog. I used to do that back in the day. When I was 16, my first e-commerce store that popped up that made me money, I was using my dog as a model for my dog products, and it worked well. That's how I started getting past 10,000 a month. So this is the highest effort, and if you have no skill, don't do this. Like if you've been passionate about photography for 2 years, it could be something you could do, but just understand it's nothing against you. It was me too. I just botched it. All my stuff looked like crap. It worked back then because it was easier. There was less competition, but it's just a difficult landscape to do. And if you don't have the skill, you don't have the skill. It's simple. The second option is UGC content from a creator, not posted. They're not posted on their page to promote you. They just create it. There's a lot of third-party services where you can send send your product to get content. So you send it out to 8 different creators and they make videos. That's something you can do. This is usually the most expensive and it's time consuming to find these people. You can either use a third-party service. TikTok has their own creative platform now where people make videos and they cover it for you. There's also the option where you can just cold DM a bunch of influencers. That's the most difficult and definitely the most expensive. So the third option, okay? Use third-party services like viral e-commerce ads. This is where I start. Okay, once we're scaling, we're making our own content. We're paying for it. We spend a lot of money doing that, but this is the cheapest and fastest way to turn around a couple videos for $50 in 2 days. That's the best way to do it. Again, I know them extensively. I've probably personally spent $15,000 or so on this platform, but I'm even here on the website. I know everybody behind this company. I know exactly how they built the business from day one. I know how quality it is. So you can get UGC ads through them where you send it to creators they work with, or just go to video ad packages, get a TikTok split testing package, $50, but that's the easiest and cheapest way to get videos when you're just starting, okay? So now that we have some videos out of the way, at least something to run with, I do want to hit on this. Actually, if you do end up making your own ads, order 2 to 3 of your products, not one. Something's going to break, it's going to get lost, you're going to give it to someone and it gets stolen or something. It happens. Second thing is get many clips in many environments with different people. So I had one, we were growing a necklace brand, personalized jewelry. And so I ordered a couple of the products so I could also add to the content bank for our editors. So I'm walking around the local park and in my car and, you put it on the hood of the Lamborghini and trying stuff in a house and in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and having a couple girls wear it, just different stuff, photos, videos, all that, just the more the better. And then you can use CapCut. That's the software I use on my phone just for basic editing. Works really well. And again, if you already have a skill, if you're skilled at a software like Final Cut, then you could use that. But just something to notice, a lot of effort there. Now, let's talk about the actual best creative practices. I have personally spent, I don't even know, many millions on TikTok alone, okay? And because of that, I've been assigned a rep through our accounts because we're high spenders. So with that, I've gotten a lot of insights into being able to access new beta programs that they're testing and giving them data so they can learn, and also being able to hear what other people are doing that's new and working well. And I get to hear the direct policy stuff. When I launch new ads, I don't just go on the platform and upload them. I put them in a Google Drive and I send the link to my rep, and their internal team takes 7 to 10 days and reviews them. And they give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So I just want to put out there, that's the level of access I have to make sure that I get to see everything. And so because of that, I've been able to put together some of these best creative practices that some people just don't think about. So let's start simple here. 3 to 5 ads under each ad group when starting out. That's what they recommend. That's what the platform does. And I have also found that to work well. Sometimes those aren't congruent. Sometimes they'll recommend stuff and I don't get good results with it. Now, perfect congruence is critical. This is what I mentioned earlier with the pricing. No 49.99% discount error. You can have that discount, but you need to say it, right? So be exact. Now you can use the TikTok Creative Center to see top performing ads. So this is one of these things where you can go in there, look at ads, you can see what's ranking, what's working well, and get ideas. You know, like this product, which never really worked well for me, even on an LED store that worked. That's funny. They're just hitting it. So all sorts of like very simple videos, you can see what's working well. That's a good thing to do. And then, the new creative assistant, that's a beta thing. We don't really need to talk about it. Not even that good, but don't link directly to an opt-in form. A lot of people don't think about this. So it's not really relevant if you're doing e-commerce, but let's say you have a landscaping business and people need to fill out a form, right? An input form, and then you're going to call them at some point, right? You can't do that. That's a policy violation, sort of a policy violation. It will put you in trouble with TikTok. Don't ever link directly to it. Link to a landing page with info and a video that then has a button that goes to that. You have to have a middle step. Just fun fact. Now, I personally get the best results with Spark ads, but my rep maintains there's no technical difference. So I just say try both. I prefer Spark ads. I've had good results with both, but over time, long-term, especially scaling really hard, I notice Spark ads do better, just better with that engagement stacking up and having it on the page for social proof. More of an advanced topic. If you don't know what Spark ads is, that's fine. You can look it up, but it's basically running an ad to a post that's on your TikTok page. One post, even if you duplicate it 100 times, all the engagement, likes, comments go to one. So it's pretty cool. And again, that TikTok ad credit and coaching, just fill out the questionnaire down below, answer a couple questions. My team's gonna be able to help you start launching your ads, get profitable with those ads. And we're also gonna be able to get you $1,000 in matching TikTok ad credit. So really cool thing there. Just answer a couple questions. I'll leave that link somewhere down below if you want to do that and work with us. Now, the best budget practices, just like I have the policy stuff there with the best creative practices, I've got you here. Best budget practices. Let's talk about how do we start. And in a moment, we're going to launch TikTok ads live together. So stick with me for a second. We got to hit on this first. Now, TikTok recommends, and this is through extensive research with multiple reps, 10 to 20x your target CPA daily. Understand what this means. If I'm selling a product for 50 and I need to get purchases for 20, okay? What's the math there? What is $20, which is my target cost per purchase that I'm spending? If I want to spend 20 or less, what is 10 to 20 times that? $200 to $400 a day per ad group, and then leaving that for 5 to 7 days to let it exit the learning stage. It's expensive. Who can afford that? Because you got to launch 2 or 3, right, to test some different audiences. It's expensive. It's a lot. Now, I have not found that to be necessary to get results. Does it work? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. It's really hit or miss, but it's just as hit or miss as my other stuff. It's all random. It's just what optimizes right, what happens to hit. So my preferred starting is 50 to 75. Sometimes I'll do 100, but I'll do a mix of these. Okay, I'll do 2 at 50, 1 at 75, 1 at 100, and I'll launch those. And within 2 or 3 days, I'll kill them. And if they're working, I'll do what's called surf scaling. It's a more aggressive strategy where I raise the budgets throughout the day. I'm very active with it. I'll talk about that when I show you how to scale TikTok ads in a moment. With this, 3 creatives is best, especially for like that lower budget side. You don't want to be doing 5, it kind of stuffs it up a little bit. And as I scale them, I can duplicate and I can add more if I need to. So of course, I'm biased because it's my freaking opinion, but I would test mine first because it takes less cash out of your pocket. You do what you want, but that's my personal advice to you and doesn't change anything for me. So biased, I guess, maybe, but unbiased as well. Now, best targeting practices. By the way, if you're enjoying this so far, it would mean a lot to me if you just drop a like and leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Just say what's up. Give me a thumbs up. Do something like that. It took me 4.5 hours just to put this together, and then all the filming. It's a lot going into it. All right. So for targeting, large and open audiences perform the best. 25 million plus in size is usually where if you go under 25 mil, you're going to get a narrow audience warning. It can still perform. I have it do well, but usually when I'm scaling, those kind of die out pretty quick. So just something to keep in mind. It'll give you a warning, a yellow error that says like, warning audience potentially too narrow. So just keep an eye out for that. And then my 2 most successful audiences is stacking 5+ semi-relevant interests. It really doesn't matter what you do, but stacking multiple interests that are somewhat in your category. So the total's over 100 million in size. And then my second best one is no audience at all. Like that just works really well for me, especially scaling. The audience is a lot less important than you think. I've told many stories about things I've done, like we were selling necklaces. So what did I naturally do? I targeted people who buy socks. And it worked. I targeted cars and it worked. All these things, they just kind of work and die out. It doesn't really matter what you're targeting. It's more so just keeping an eye on the performance. That's really it. It's just at one point you're just hitting a lot of people. So just something to keep in mind. Now let's launch ads. Let me pull up an ad account. All right, so inside of here, we're going to jump up over to campaign and we are going to hit create. Wow, really special. The people who overcomplicate this are just goofy, man. Like this stuff's really simple. And inside of here, like what I just broke down is the whole framework. The actual launching of the ads is really simple. So we're going to do custom mode, not the simple mode. And here's how we're going to flow through it. All right. We're going to do website conversions because we're going for purchases with an e-commerce one. That's the whole target there, right? So we're gonna get that done. And then if you're, again, I just wanted to mention, if you're doing TikTok Shop, you can run the ads directly there. Smart performance campaign, something to do later when you're scaling, blah, blah, blah. We'll launch one. We'll just call it a test. We're not going to do a CBO, campaign budget optimization. Now up here, you can name it whatever you want. I have a whole naming framework that I cover in my course and all that stuff, but TikTok pixel, boom, there we go. Optimizing event. It's going to show yellow. No activity is what it's going to say. It's kind of in orange. Totally fine with that error. You can still target. You can still do these. Complete payment is what we're aiming for. That's still what I'm going to optimize for day one, even with no data. For placements. Now, if you're running Spark ads, you can't do automatic placements. You have to select and only run TikTok. Advanced. I keep comments on. That's your call. Comments can get pretty nasty on TikTok for ads. I remove download and I allow sharing. So that's one thing. I'm located here in the US. I run ads to US and Canada. That's my primary. If you have an agency account, I would include Australia in there. I don't think this account is I don't have access to that. So for here, all doesn't really make a huge difference. I usually do 18 plus. I also don't see a big difference from that. And then your audience, your interest. What do you want to do? Are we targeting, I don't know, necklace? You're going to see a lot of specific stuff for winning products inside of here. So if we type in necklace, you're going to eventually see like personalized necklace, like right here, personalized necklace, custom necklace, all these different things. You could target a lot of those and stack them if you really wanted to. But like, here's that audience warning that I was talking about, so we can also do more general like jewelry. So ordinary jewelry, jewelry design, whatever. Let's see, jewelry. So we'll just stack a few of these. Boom, we're getting up towards 100 million. All good. Jewelry and accessories done. All right. So that's a good enough audience. We'll start this ad, $50 a day. I would schedule it if I was you. I always go to the next day and then I drop it to the beginning of the day, anywhere from like midnight to 6 a.m. Sometimes I'll have it launch at 5. It's perfectly fine. We do daily budget. You can test lifetime budget stuff later. You can test cost caps later. You're not going to have access to value when you're first starting. You need about 20 purchases to unlock this. So we stick with conversion, lowest cost, nice and easy. We're not doing cost caps or anything crazy. You can try it later if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it starting. And that's it. So we're going to go to the next page. Oh, whatever. And by the way, if I was to name this one, just so you know, unless I'm always doing US Canada, then I wouldn't include this, but I would do US Canada, 5 interests. And if you really want to, LC for lowest cost, but whatever, it's your call. So a couple basic things there. Now we got the ad set up. That's all the stuff that's important. Now we're on the ad page, okay, where we would actually put in videos for whatever we're doing. All right. So use TikTok account to deliver Spark ads. If you have one, you can authorize the post there. You can go to TikTok Business Help Center and search up Spark ads. It'll show you how to do it. Now I can also turn this off and not do it. And then I can upload the video directly. I can do it from the library. Like we already have some videos up inside of here. All sorts of random stuff, so I can upload a bunch of these videos. These are testimony style videos. Cool. Like let's say we're going to do 4 of these. Great. Hit confirm. Boom, they're automatically all uploaded in there. Now, the only thing I have to do is the copy. With a Spark ad, it's already in there because that's the description of the TikTok post. But here, it's not the case. You're going to have to put that in, and then you're just going to have to put the URL, and you'll want to copy paste that to each one to make sure it's correct. And then that's it. You're going to hit submit, and congratulations. Ad number 1 is launched. Once that is launched, you're going to want to duplicate that. The only thing I would change is the budget and the interests. So go ahead, change up your targeting, change up the budget, launch 2 or 3 of these, get them going. I use the same creatives, and bing, bang, boom, that is it. Magic, right? It's really not that crazy. The difficult part is also not even in managing. It's what do you do when it starts to work a little bit? How do we read that data? Right? When do you kill something? If you're spending 200 a day, you're making back 150, that's good. That's good movement. That's momentum. Like you can build off of that. Sometimes it doesn't work though. So we continue on. But this just comes down to simple metrics, killing what's not working, making adjustments to things that are, like I just said. Don't expect to be profitable from day one. I'm just trying to set your expectations correctly. It's super rare, but it does happen. Check your ads once a day when you're starting with basic budgets. That's really all you need to do, even every other day if you really want. And then fill out the questionnaire below to get coaching. Like this is where, I have like an 8-hour program on launching ads, scaling ads, managing data, diving through all that, and like live examples of doing this with people over and over again. So fill out that questionnaire. We can talk about coaching and help you get things set up. And then, like I promised, Ads rejected. Now, partially rejected is the most common. Usually your ads don't just say rejected. So you'll see this, and this can be a lot of different things. It can be the pricing being inconsistent like we talked about. It's actually a 49.99% discount or something, and you say 50. But having this warning can hurt your performance. It's really annoying, especially sometimes it doesn't go away. It can also mean that your creatives are somehow in violation. So what I would do is just create a support ticket. I'll show you how to do that and get specific reasons. Like you have to ask them. They're going to give you some BS, push back again, and keep trying to ask for a rep. Say, hey, I want specific reasons, which creative violated, which policy, which part. We're happy to make changes. I just need to know on what. So show that you're making a proactive effort. And then if your ad account gets suspended, or if you need to just make a support ticket, go over here to the question mark. How can I submit a ticket? Need further support, submit the ticket, and then under accounts, reviews, and appeals, hit suspended ads manager appeal. So, obviously you can do different stuff like disapproved ad group appeal if you need to talk about the rejected ads. That's a good one to do. So yeah, and then in terms of the scaling, here's a couple different things. I'm not going to go through it because this would take 5 hours, and I, again, have a program on that. Surf scaling, this is where I'm like actively raising the budgets throughout the day. It's a lot of work. Every hour of the day, at the top of the hour, I have an alarm that sets, and I from 7 a.m. to midnight, I'm usually there every hour adjusting the budgets. But that's how you can go from, hey, yesterday I did 400, today I did $7,000. Like you can do that, and then 7 to 30. So that's how it gets a little more aggressive. Inside of there, I do some cost caps. You can help control your cost. These work really good, something to try later. And then scaling through creatives, more duplicates, having more stuff running. CBOs are something you can do. I do like to surf scale CBOs. They work really well. Again, if you don't understand the lingo, that's fine, more advanced terminology. But that's, again, more aggressive stuff for later. So that's kind of a rough framework on things we do to scale without actually diving an hour into each of these. One thing to notice, if you're scaling too fast, I know I mentioned like jumping really hard, it's usually okay on TikTok. But if you do that on Facebook that quickly, on a new account especially, you're very likely going to have some problems and get shut down. So let's talk about Facebook ads real quick, just a basic framework, because it's actually incredibly similar. There's only a few key differences. Lower budgets are acceptable. You can go below 50. Under 3 creatives is acceptable. I've done 1 sometimes, but usually I'm trying to do 2 or more. Manual bidding can be a good secondary strategy if the primary doesn't work. So if you try this stuff and it doesn't really work and you still believe in the product, you think you have good creatives, maybe try some manual bidding, some cost cap stuff right away. Can work. And Facebook does usually track a bit more accurately than TikTok. TikTok's been a little inconsistent. It kind of just depends on the ad account, but it can be really frustrating. So that's where we use services like Triple Whale or Hyros, or 2 you could look into. Usually something you're doing when you're scaling and you really want to track attributions to see exactly what's coming from where, and you're running ads on multiple platforms. So I'll just put that out there in case anybody's a little more advanced. Now, I could spend another 2 hours on Facebook, and I do in my program, but there's a lot of similarity between these, okay? The only few key differences are really with budgets, targeting, and scaling. Scaling is definitely different between the 2 platforms. So there's that. Now let's hit on email marketing. As you start getting more customers, you're building a brand, there's a lot of people buying, there's other people that gave you their email but they didn't buy. You can start seeing a significant increase in your revenue and profit just by doing email marketing. In fact, on average, 27% of my revenue, if you see me post $1 million screenshot, about 270 grand of that is email and text. So if you're leaving that open and not doing anything, you're missing out. Let's talk about it.
Juice to the gills, man. Is this on?
All right, guys, this is my good friend, Jonathan Zamora, and he's a master, a wizard, dare I say, with email marketing. So we're going to have him explain a little bit about what he does, how he does it. We're going to dive into his computer, show you some examples. But first, quick intro. How did you get into emails? Because that's very specific.
Yeah, it is pretty specific. So before I was in e-commerce, all of 2018, 2019, and a little bit of early 2020. And I sold one of my brands that I was working on for a while. And I was kind of just like in a state of kind of just hovering around, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And one of my buddies that had a pretty decent e-com brand, he was like, hey man, like, how did you be able to sell the business? Like, what did you do right? And so I kind of took a look at his store. And one of the things that he wasn't doing at all was email marketing. And that was Jake. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, you should probably do email marketing. That's something that is low-hanging fruit. It pretty much always works if you have a brand that does well. And so we went on, hopped on, built some flows out, built some campaigns, and it crushed. And that brand actually ended up going from, it was like 100K to 2 million in like 5 months, a month. Nuts. It was insane. It's probably the fastest growth I've ever seen on a brand. And that was kind of the start of it because we were getting a profit share initially. So we got good payments from it. And it was just something that made sense.
And so you've now spun that into an agency basically.
Correct.
Where you do exclusively, pretty much to my knowledge,
yeah,
email
only
and
email.
text.
Yep.
And that's what you guys focus on.
Yeah, so now we're just purely focused on email and SMS. The reason I like email and SMS is because it's surefire. With Facebook ads or TikTok ads, there's always going to be algorithm changes, a lot of updates. An ad account could get banned. But with email, if you have a good email list, you have a good brand, you could be pretty confident that you're at least going to drive an additional 25, 30% of revenue. So I always tell people that it's like an amplification of your revenue. So if you're doing 100K a month, you turn on email and SMS, you could do 130K with no additional ad spend, which is what I love.
Which is huge. It's
Yeah.
really high margin. Very little cost to do that, just cost of goods.
Right.
So there's a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, email is big. When my Facebook ad account got shut down, right as the virus hit in 2020, the only way I was able to sell my inventory, which I just bulk ordered, was through email because we couldn't get an ad account up and running. So yeah, it's huge for people not doing it. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. We'll just have a conversation back and forth.
Cool.
When should people start email? Because you said it's an amplification.
Right.
So 0 times 20 is still 0.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of come from the train of thought from that book, Ready, Fire, Aim, which basically says that if you're trying to scale from 0 to 1 million, you want one avatar, one marketing channel, one product. And I would say it's very similar here. Like if you're trying to get an e-commerce store working, I would not be focused on email if you don't have any sales. It doesn't make any sense, right? And so if you're in those early stages, I would say doing less than 30K a month, you're gonna be better off just really getting Facebook or TikTok Shop or whatever you're running ads on to actually work. I would say once it gets closer to like 50K plus a month, that's when it's actually going to make a meaningful difference. Because if you add an additional 30% there, you're doing okay. So that's usually when I tell people it's really meaningful. Now that's for building out the full system. There's a lot that we'll dive into as far as how you could build out the customer journeys to actually drive as much revenue as possible. But in those early stages, it's still helpful to have an abandoned checkout, which is just going to capture some of those people that are adding products to their cart and not actually making the purchase. And if you're doing that right, you might capture an additional 10% of those people, which does drive some revenue. Right, and that's like really low-hanging fruit. So I'd recommend building that out, maybe around 10, 20K a month. It's going to make a little bit of a difference. And that'll cover a lot of the big bulk stuff. And then also having a good customer thank you email. That's something that a lot of people neglect, which always drives me crazy because the way that I see the customer thank you email is that needs to be an email that is meant to remove buyer's remorse. If you're trying to build a brand, which is the goal, right? Like a lot of people go and drop ship, and I have friends that have drop shipped for years, and they're just on this cycle over and over again of starting products, killing them, starting products, killing them over and over again. In my opinion, I would want to build a brand. The way that you're going to do that is happy customers. And a lot of people, whenever they buy a product, they have buyer's remorse. They're like, why the hell did I buy this thing in the first place? And so that email should ideally get them to have a little bit of confidence in the brand and the reason that they made that purchase. So what we do with that customer thank you email is just a lot of testimonials, really reinforcing that decision. So those are kind of like the two basic emails. That's like 10 to 20K. After 50K, it's worth building out all of the additional flows.
Gotcha. So before we go through a couple more things, I'd like to show people an example.
Yeah.
Because visuals are always great. So if you can pull up, we'll talk numbers. We can show an example of maybe an abandoned cart email, a campaign for something you've done. So whatever you're comfortable showing, let's take a look.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you want to bring the camera around, we can take a peek inside of here. We've obviously got Russ on the computer.
Of course.
John's
Of course.
in flow mode.
Yeah, let me figure out which brand I could show.
Cut this out.
Let me see here. Is this the abandoned checkout? Yeah, it is. Okay, sweet. So this is an example of an abandoned checkout email. Now, some of the things that I'm looking for on an abandoned checkout is, of course, you want to have your logo up top. There's kind of two different types of emails that we'll produce. One is an HTML email, which is what this is. This is how you kind of get a beautiful looking email. This is going to be all code-based, or just a pure text email. Now, with the HTML emails, it's always going to have a logo at the top. You're going to have some sort of a tagline up here. And then one of the things that we tested quite a few times was having a call to action above the fold. So if you've ever designed a website, basically what the fold is the bottom of the screen. So everything you see that's above the screen is above the fold. Everything that's beneath the screen is below the fold. So we split tested having the call to action, a button, above the fold versus having it under the fold. And we actually saw a 30% increase on the click-through rate.
Wow.
So that's why we have these buttons so freaking high in these emails, right? A lot of people might make the argument that it's like, oh, that's ugly. It doesn't look, that great. I don't care. I really don't care. I want to make this email drive as much revenue as humanly possible. So that's why we have that button so high up in there. Then from there, we might have a little bit of a description. We're typically going to dive into some of the features and benefits, things like this. The big thing that you're going to see here is with a lot of these like images and icons, they're gonna be pretty big, pretty sized up. The reason that we do that is because we want it to be mobile friendly. Whenever we look at the data across all of our brands, about 80-85% of the traffic that you'll be seeing on emails are gonna be coming from mobile. And that's just the stats that we've seen. Maybe some brands are a little bit more desktop focused, but across the board, mobile optimized works always better than desktop optimized. So that's why you're gonna see bigger icons. Then from there, you're gonna see a call to action at the bottom and then a quick little testimonial there. So that's kind of the general structure for an abandoned checkout. Now, there's really gonna be 4 different types of abandonment series. There's gonna be a site abandonment, browse abandonment, abandoned checkout, and abandoned cart. And basically what that means is if somebody has just gone to the website and they haven't looked at any products, that's gonna be a site abandonment. If somebody has looked at a product, browse abandonment. If somebody has added a cart, cart abandonment, and then so on and so forth with abandoned checkout. So you wanna have all 4 of those kind of built out. And the way that we look at that is the farther they are away from the purchase, the less aggressive we have to be with discounts. So on the site abandonment, browse abandonment, it's really just gonna be a reminder. Like, hey, come back to the site, come check this out. And we're just wanting to move them one step down the funnel. Now, as it gets to an abandoned checkout, we're gonna be a little bit more aggressive with the offers that we're putting out there. So that might be 10% off, it might be faster shipping or free shipping, something like that to actually get them to go through and make the purchase. So that's kind of the structure there. Do you wanna go through some of the analytics?
Yeah, I'd love to take a look at some numbers, what this produces in terms of revenue, average percentage. If a store is doing $100,000 a month in revenue through, let's say, Facebook ads, what can that email roughly produce? Because obviously it's not the only email series we have there, but.
Cool. So here's an example of an abandoned checkout series that we have for one of our customers. Now, majority of their revenue is going to be coming from Facebook ads. They do have a little bit of revenue that's coming from influencers, but by far and away it's Facebook. Now, when we look at this first email, we have a 41% open rate, a 2% click-through rate, and then a 2.6% placed order rate, which made them an additional $33,000 a month just by having this one singular.
Month.
Yeah, last 30 days.
And so what is this store doing in revenue, just for some perspective here on what this email alone for abandoned checkout is producing?
So this store on average will do about $300,000 a month. Now, the caveat there is we just got through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and they absolutely crushed. They did over $1 million in the last month. And they're on track to do another $1 million this month as well. So some of these numbers are gonna be a little bit higher than average. But if we back it out for, let's just call it the last 90 days, we'll be able to see that a lot of these numbers stay the same. So about $46,000 here in the last 90 days. Now, we do kind of add on some of these sequences as we go down. And there's a lot of sequences that are here that aren't actually active. We leave them there. That's more so just for results tracking. But the second email here has a 42% open rate, a 3.3% click-through rate, 1.9% placed order rate, and $35,000 in revenue. So the way that we look at this is we're gonna continue to build out email sequences longer and longer as long as we're getting a higher than a 0.5% placed order rate. So if it's higher than that, we're gonna make it 3 emails, 4 emails, 5 emails, 6 emails, and just go all the way down. Now, if, let's just say this first email up here wasn't performing and we're not getting that, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start running some split tests. And that's always the lowest hanging fruit. And this is really gonna be either, do you want me to break down how split tests work? Okay, cool. So when it comes to open rate, the biggest factor there is gonna be the subject line. So you're gonna wanna test different titles that you can include on that subject line because that's what people are gonna see and that's what's gonna determine whether or not they're actually gonna open that. So if the open rate's too low, then you'll go through and split test that. For us, on an open rate on an abandoned checkout email, should be about 30%, at least. Now, whenever it comes to the click-through rate or the placed order rate, a lot of this is gonna have to do with the content inside of the email. So number one, I'm always just gonna test different offers. That's lowest hanging fruit. So if you have this email and there's no offer there, you could go through and just say, hey, 10% off and split test that and see how that performs. If it doesn't make a meaningful difference, then it's probably gonna have something to do with the copy. So just making it shorter is usually the best bet. A lot of the times, I'll see emails that are way too long, have way too much context. People are trying to write essays in this thing. Don't do that. Literally just, testimonials, button, call to action with a nice big offer that's very clear.
Yeah. Is there a world where you do have a long email?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just not for abandoned cart.
Not for abandoned checkout. Any of the ones that are really gonna be revenue drivers, I don't really see any reason to really make them longer than they need to be, right? But whenever it comes to more so brand building, then you can make them a little bit longer. So you could write things that are going to be like tutorials or blog post style things. So for example, like if you have a shoe brand, you could release an email that's how to take care of your shoes. And then you could give them like a 5-step process on how to make sure that they are optimizing the care of their shoes. And that might be a little bit longer. But for the most part, I like to keep them short, sweet, simple.
Gotcha. Cool. And the platform you prefer to use is Klaviyo. I've known you use
Correct.
it for years.
Yeah.
So is that what you would recommend to somebody who's starting to see some sales, they want to build out an email sequence? That would be the platform you'd recommend?
Yeah, I like Klaviyo a good amount. I actually don't know how to say it, if it's Klaviyo, Klaviyo.
I've always said Klaviyo.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's a pretty good company overall. The thing that I really like about them is they're constantly innovating the platform. So one of the big things that I've seen is they've added new features like the ability to see all of the split tests that you have active. Which before, like you had to go in, open up the sequence, see what was actively there, but now they have like a master dashboard where you can see every single split test that you have across all of your flows. So they're constantly rolling out new features that make it easier to manage the email. And there's so many other options, but when it comes to actually getting performance out of it, I like Klaviyo.
Awesome. And so you're seeing, give or take, about 10% from their revenue just through all the abandoned sequences. Is that roughly the number you're seeing?
Yeah, I would say maybe slightly more. I would say maybe closer to like 14, 15%, like in that range. A lot of it is going to be coming from the automation end, is going to be coming from those abandonment series. Then maybe an additional 5% from like customer winbacks, which is basically somebody that made a purchase but just hasn't shopped in a while. And then the remaining 15%, 20% that you'll see is going to be coming from campaigns.
Yeah, because one of the numbers I want to point out for everybody is like, let's take the brand doing $300,000 a month, right? And let's just say you're generating 10% of that through the abandoned carts and abandon everything. 10% of that $30,000 a month, $360,000 a year with no ad spend.
Yeah.
That's additional. Now you have cost of goods, let's call that 30%.
Yeah.
You're talking about $225,000 in profit, give or take.
Right.
Now, on an e-commerce brand, you're probably sitting at about a 4.5 to a 5 multiple if you were to sell a brand.
Yep.
Okay, so now you're talking about, what is that, $1.2 million in additional value of the business because of this.
Right.
No other emails, just the proper abandon. And you're doing a lot more. You do like campaigns, where you do promotions for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah, we've had a few of our brands that we've worked with actually go through and sell their business. And one of the things they always will ask us is a lot of conversation around how big their email list is, what's the health, and so we can kind of help them navigate the sell of their business. And yeah, having an email list is a massive asset whenever it comes to actually exiting the company.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't think about that because with e-commerce, it's a little different versus selling like another business or maybe a property. Like you're only as good as your last quarter, your last year. And so an ad account can go down, but an email list, not really.
Yeah, one of our biggest clients had their ad account go down, and they went from doing 7-figure months down to like 200K. And during that time, it was like 90% of their revenue was coming from email and SMS.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. I mean, obviously that's not ideal because I would want them to be at those 7-figure months, but it was good to see that there was still stability just coming from that list.
For sure. So we've talked a bit about the abandoned side of things, right?
Yep.
People who did not make a purchase, whatever level that might be. Let's talk about for people who have purchased.
Okay.
What are you doing through the emails? Is there an example you could show us for, let's say a Black Friday promotion or just a regular email send? How often are you doing those?
Yeah.
And the numbers that come from that, maybe we can take a look.
Sure. Okay, so this is an example of a Black Friday, Cyber Monday email. The way that we structure any of our promos are really going to be based around a couple of steps. The big one is going to be driving early bird access. Now that's something that we used to not do at all. We used to just jump straight into a promo. And what we found was that we would get way higher results by just opening it up a little bit sooner to a select group of people. So the first step is sending an email that's like this. They basically will say, hey, don't wait. You want to get access to this deal, go ahead and claim your spot. Whenever they click this, it'll go to a little landing page where they could just put in their email. And that will have a countdown timer on when they'll get access to the deal. Now for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we opened up a lot of the access to the deals on Tuesday, Monday of that week. So leading up to that, we're selling out a lot of these spots. Now the reason that matters and the reason they're actually going to sign up for it is because we limit the volume of how many people can actually take advantage of the deal. If it's unlimited, a lot of people aren't going to care. But if we say we're only going to sell 1,000 of these and we're expected to sell out really quick, then they are going to want to sign up for this so that way they can actually get access and make sure that they claim that deal. So we'll send this about a week and a half before, start getting people signed up, and then about a week before, we'll go through and actually open up early access. Now, if we have 1,000 people on that list, we're usually gonna be selling about 20% of the volume that we have for that promo before we release it to the general public, to the whole list. And what that does is on the actual launch day, like on Black Friday here, instead of saying, hey, we have 1,000 out of 1,000 spots left, we could say there's only 812 left. And that just cranks up the intensity for people to actually take action on a lot of those promos just a little bit more, and we see better results from that. So that's how we're gonna structure any of our promos, whether it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a new product drop, a new collection drop, or even just Valentine's Day or whatever it is. That's how we're always gonna structure them.
Awesome. And obviously for Black Friday, I mean, that's one of the largest times of the year for e-commerce.
Right.
What sort of numbers were you producing, both revenue-wise and percentage-wise, according to revenue, through some of these campaigns? I mean, you mentioned a brand that went from doing $300,000 a month to having $1 million month.
Yeah.
Now they're going to follow that up again with another $1 million month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. So how much of that was email? Because I'm sure they ramped up their marketing.
Yeah, I can show you. Let's go back to this account here real quick. Cool, so here's some of the examples of the emails that you'll see. So these, what is this? This is 4 emails that we released on Black Friday. Actually, excuse me, 6 that we released on Black Friday. First one did $28,000 in revenue. Second one did 11. Then we did 5,000, 11,000, 5,000, and then about 6,000. So that was just purely email, and then we have also SMS. That would probably drove an additional $10,000, $15,000 in revenue just in that one singular day. Now, with any of these, we're not going to be sending them all to the same list. Usually what this is going to be is we'll start out really big. So we might send to the whole list if it has really good deliverability, which is always going to be one of the biggest issues whenever somebody who maybe isn't super familiar with email they're going to run into, which is landing in spam or the promotions tab. So that's something that we're kind of constantly monitoring. But if we know that this email account has really good deliverability, then we're going to send to the whole list initially. And what that's going to do is that's going to engage everybody that's on their list. Then from that point, if they've opened an email, clicked on an email, visited the website at all, then we're going to do engaged segments based on when they did the engagement. So it might be in the last 7 days, last 30 days, whatever. And so then we're going to send to smaller segments from there, and we might do resends if they opened an email. So that's what you're going to see here. Like this one's all active profiles. Then some of these smaller ones is like 180 days engaged. Now they had great open rates all the way throughout. Like this is a 47% open rate, 45, 48, 37. So we're really happy with all of those open rates across the board. No cause for concern there.
Awesome. And so of course, sending 6 emails in a day is aggressive.
Yeah.
Right? But if these are segmented to different people,
Yep.
it's not, not everybody's getting 6 emails in a day. I'm sure
Yeah.
some got more than one.
Yeah, there's multiple here that probably got, 3, 4.
yeah.
The way that we look at it is, people vote with their dollars. And so if we're seeing that we're getting good conversion rates on these, then it's worth just trying to milk it. We don't want to go overboard where it's like, okay, nobody's really interested in this. And I would say on this one, we did go a little bit overboard, right? Like every year, whenever we're doing Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we learn a ton about how different brands and how different customer profiles engage with that brand. And so what we'll do is we'll then go through and review these notes and say, okay, great, how do we improve this? It's that feedback loop that you have to constantly be doing. And so with this brand, we said, okay, we did a little bit too aggressive here. And so what we did on Cyber Monday is we pulled back. We said, okay, we're gonna send not as many because the long-term brand equity is more important than squeezing this out.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Those are some super cool numbers. So I think now it would be super valuable if we give people a little bit of insight. And we already hit on when they should start. It doesn't make sense to do that right away. But any other tips you have for people trying to do email or text message marketing and all of that?
Okay, let me think. The biggest things for me is going to be, of course, that abandoned checkout email, that thank you email whenever you're first getting started. Now, as you start to kind of get some traction, one of the biggest things that a lot of people that don't have any experience with email will do is just continuously send to the full list. That's something that I would never recommend doing because what you're going to end up having at the end of that is bad deliverability. You're going to be landing in spam, you're going to be landing in promotions. So the easiest way that you could kind of segment out these audiences is if you go into Klaviyo, there's a segments tab. It's right over here on the audiences. And you can hit segment, go on the full list, and then just select it by engaged, right? So you could do anybody that's opened an email, anybody that's clicked on an email in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And you'll create 2 or 3 different segments. Then I would just send to 30 days engaged, and as long as you have over a 30% open rate, then you could try to expand it. But never send the full list if you're just getting started, because you're gonna end up with a bigger problem, and then you're gonna end up coming to us, because we see it all the time. People will send the full list all the time, and then they're like, have awful deliverability, and then it takes like 60 days to fix something like that. So just segment it out from the beginning, so that way you don't run into those problems.
Yeah, and John and I built a company that is a newsletter. Like the whole business is an email list. Like that's the customer base. So he's very knowledgeable on this stuff. But yeah, appreciate you coming on, giving us a ton of insight. I will leave his info linked down below. I don't know if you have some sort of intake form, you know, for people who are doing above 50,000 a month or so. What's like your minimum threshold for people to work with you, where it makes sense?
Yeah, so the two criteria for us is they have to be doing over $50,000 a month, and then they also have to have an email list over 15,000. Because if you don't have the email list over 15,000, the campaigns on our end aren't going to be performing at the level that it'd be worth it to pay our fee.
Yeah, to justify that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do have to say, like, you guys know I don't recommend a lot of stuff. I have personally known this guy for, well, probably a little over 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And, you know, we have an email business together. One of my e-commerce brands is here on the tab. Like, he's run a lot of our stuff, and so this is the expert for sure.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you.
It's a good one.
Hell yeah, man. Hopefully that was valuable. I don't know.
So I hope you enjoyed that. John has been a great friend of mine for a long, long time. We actually run a separate company together, a newsletter called Profit Snack, just a fun passion project where we kind of document cool entrepreneur stories and cool businesses. So anyways, that's more like leaning into building a real business, if you will. Like, real is such a subjective word, but you're going to want email, you're going to want text. So let's talk about building a real business. As things start to work, right? Things continue and you're actually having a business that's making consistent money. Well, let's talk about this. A real business doesn't mean you don't have to be involved to run it, right? It just means you offer something to the marketplace. You hear this all the time, like, oh, well, it's not a real business because if you can't step away from it. That's ridiculous. Like, a business is a business that provides a service or a product or something to someone. That's it. It doesn't matter what it is. I could sell you Uno cards, but only the blue reverse ones, and that's a business. It doesn't matter. If there's somebody buying and you're selling something, it's a business. A business sells something, all right? Now, however, these are some things I believe, I want to make that clear, it's a belief statement here, I believe should occur with time in a good business. Hiring and training employees to facilitate growth. You should always be looking to grow. Increasing revenue. That's part of growth. That will also facilitate you paying these employees. Increasing your customer base. Do this, even if it's giving people something for free, that's increasing your customer base, which can lead to increased revenue. Bring more people in the door. It's often called the tripwire. Whether it's free or low priced, get more people. Transition from short-term cash mindset to long-term sustainability. I was just in California for the weekend with a good friend of mine. And we've known each other for a long time. And we always talk about how important this is. And it was funny to see us kind of both line up. The first year or two in business, it's a short-term cash mindset. You need the urgency of time. Like, you have no money, you need money, you're tired of your family struggle. Like, he had to go take care of his parents and buy his parents cars. And I had to do some stuff with my family. Like, you had to take care of your people, right? It is urgency. But after a certain point, like, you're good, right? And then it's a switch from operating a little bit more out of a place of longevity. All right, like, how do we optimize this train for the next 30 years? We did a great 5. What's the long-term plan here, right? And so just having that long-term sustainability. So many businesses die. I forget the stat, but it's over 80 or 90% of businesses aren't open after 10 years. So just something to think about. This is my opinion. A real business owner is responsible, keeps money in the business, has financial discipline, and keeps their eye on the ball. That's it. Okay. Most people get distracted. The toys will come. The investments will come. This is me speaking to newer people who are newer to making money or who think they're going to make a lot of money soon with e-commerce or whatever. The toys will come. The investments will come. Get 12 months of consistent history first at a minimum. I'm going to give you an example. I helped a kid start making a lot of money. He was 19. It's a kid. 19 years old. I don't know what he was making, like 70,000 a month in profit, but he'd only done that for 2 months. The other months before that was like 21, and before that was like 9, and then nothing. So it's like, it was quick. Awesome. It happens. He had been grinding for like a year before. So now he was finally excited to have some money. You got to pay taxes on that, but he had like over 100 grand that was like fair and square his after tax. And he really wanted to buy, I think it was a C63S, like 78 grand, 75 grand. I said, no, I love cars. I do believe that cars can actually make you more money. 100%. The energy it brings. I'm a big car guy. I've owned a lot of them. But I said, just give it a little runway, a little bit, like see consistency. When I bought my first exotic car, I was 2 years into having extreme consistency every single month. It wasn't some roller coaster. Like, every month was extremely consistent because you don't know what's going to happen. And the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a bad situation where what should be fun, becomes a curse, right? A blessing, like a toy, car, a house, an investment, whatever. Like, just give it time. Be patient. All right. And last important advice I just want to give here, do the work that guarantees you're in a better position this time next year. Don't focus on a 1 to 2 month time frame. Make 2024 awesome. And to do so, it will suck. It's quite ironic, I know. But that's just how it is. And that's my honest belief. I think a lot of people focus too much on, it's January, I got to be making 10K a month by March. Forget it, man. Do you know how much of a life-changing experience it is to get to 10,000 a month profit? I remember when I was there. I mean, it took me years, but like, if you just give yourself a 1 year timeline, like I promise it's worth it. It seems like a long time. Yes, you got to operate out of urgency. Yes, you got to operate out of like a short time frame. Do it. But just don't quit if you don't hit it in 2 or 3 months. That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people do. So there's so many good things to talk about here. Please like, subscribe, and comment. You're going to find a bunch of resources below. Obviously, check out Mania for your product research, Zendrop for your sourcing. That's 100% where you should be starting. Fill out the form linked below that for coaching. My team can help you. We can get things going. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave some other resources there. It'd mean a lot to me if you just like, subscribe, and comment. I really hope you have a great year into 2024. This will probably be my only e-commerce video for the year. It's just not really the type of content that I'm trying to make. If there's a crazy update with something, I might put it inside part of a video, but we're changing things up. I've got a great team behind me. I'm really excited. I think we're going to grow the channel a lot exponentially this year. So it means a lot if you stick around. I hope you got some value out of the video. I'll see you in the next one.